I'm Nolan McCants. I am an award-winning global fine art photographer. I've taken photographs in about 30 countries. I've been shooting on this level, or considered a professional, if you will, for just roughly 15 years. I'm an unintended artist, meaning I didn't, go to school to become a photographer. I'm not all that technical, to be honest with you, but I have an eye. And I have an eye to capture moments that are meaningful, to capture things that have historic reference to it. I like taking culture, capturing culture, architecture, people, the emotion of people, which is amazing to me that you can capture emotion in a still image. But when I do, and typically it's nothing staged, it's just a moment. When people see it, they can feel it, whatever that emotion might be, whether it was sadness or happiness or joy in a moment. So that's what I do. I'm starting to learn my voice. At first, it was a matter of just taking photographs that I like. I mean, it's still that, but it was never with thought of what I'm capturing. It was like, I'm inquisitive, so I maybe walk through a pathway and grab a shot, or just notice something taking place. Some people, you know, gathering, and there's an exchange, and just found it interesting. Just felt good. It felt something in that image. I felt something, and I captured it. And so then you have this collection, thousands and thousands of images that I've collected. And then, it came to the point where I started to print and frame to introduce. I still try to stay true to doing what touches me, what makes me feel good, what impacts me, what communicates to me. So I'm continuing with that process. The only difference now is, after these years of doing so, I've had a chance to check the reaction of people, of the audiences where my work has been shown, interact with people who have collected my work, and over time they begin to express what it does inside them or inside their space. And so now I'm a little bit more aware when I capture something, what it might do, what it might communicate, what emotion it might evoke, what a person seeing it might connect to. And a lot of what happens is, though, people see an image that makes them feel some kind of way on the inside, typically feel good on the inside. Sometimes it's a physical space that they've been a part of, maybe not visited that space in a while. So they identify with it, and it brings memories and recall. There are times when people will see, buildings, and it's like, I know that place. In fact, there was a couple that was in recently in the gallery, and they saw a shot of LaSalle Street, Chicago's financial district. It was it was just a moment, and this is what I get to enjoy over and over again, which is real cool, because it's like getting paid twice or three times. But they immediately pointed out, okay, that was my father-in-law's office, and this was my office, and here is where I met my wife, who's standing there with him. And they're just captivated. It's a moment of recall, and now they want to know, what does it take to be able to acquire that piece and take it home with them. I see it over and over again. So then it's multiplied. So now when I grab a shot that touches me, I can just imagine what it's going to do to others, over and over and over and over and over again. And that is the beauty of having this gift where I'm able to do that. Another thing that photographs do is that they transport. I had a friend of mine, a great artist, painter, Dan Addington. He's here in Chicago, and he came to visit, and he looked around, and he noticed some of the work from Cuba, and he said, man, he said, I feel like it just transported me. You feel that. But who thinks of photography in this way? I know I didn't. I was shooting what I loved, and then at some point in time, somebody saw something that I had taken and offered to buy it. That's how my whole fine art photography career started. And then I'm also coming into that place of realizing that my eyes are my eyes. You and I can shoot the same thing, but have it seen differently, and have it interpreted differently, and perspective or angles, light, all of that just makes a difference. Uh, but then I also realized and am able to articulate it and express it. And that is the fact that I am an African American man who sees the world differently than anybody else. And I think that there's weight there, and there's significance in that. And I own that, and now I'm leaning forward into it. I'm just talking about my voice, right? And my voice in art, what that looks like, what that feels like, what that sounds like, and then, what people encounter. Because quite honestly, and I get the question a lot. So did you go to these places to shoot these photos? Which is an amazing question. I've already offended enough people by responding in a way that was so sarcastic. But I think what they're really asking many times is, you're a black man and you travel, you've seen the world, you've seen more places than me perhaps. And by the way, these photographs don't look like black art, and they give a perspective that has depth and takes me deeper into it than I would have imagined would have happened. This is the way I interpret those questions and those statements. And so I'm responding to them with some very deliberate and intentional actions with that camera now, to note that when I take a photograph, I'm taking it through these eyes, and this perspective is unique. It's unique, it's powerful, it's needed, and somebody needs to know that we see the world in these ways, right? I get a chance to do all of that with this camera. I never would have thought or dreamed in 1,000,000 years that all of this could come out of the camera through this lens. And by the way, my brother gave me my first camera. He was the one that wanted to be the photographer. Now he's my greatest fan, and he's pushing people this way. You got to see my brother's work. But it was his camera that I borrowed and was taking pictures, and he was my first voice of affirmation when he looked at something that I had taken, and he says, wow, man, you got great composition. I'm like 14, 15 years old. I had no idea what the heck he was talking about, but I knew it was positive, and I knew it was my big brother making a statement. And so I hear him again and again and again now. When I shoot photos and I see people and they come in and they make reference to composition, or they make reference to, angles, I hear my brother saying it again, and so that works. That works for me, and it's the beauty of, what is going on with the camera. So now that I understand these things, now I'm searching, and I try to look deeper within, not to the point of perhaps manufacturing anything. I still want to just shoot based on the vibe. I just want to shoot what I feel, what I find interesting, things that I discover, happen upon. I love the happen upon stuff where I didn't see that coming. You turn a corner, wow, what just happened? Pop, 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 pop. And I can tell you, when that happens, there's this nervousness that takes place that I can only describe as that you didn't prepare for, you didn't expect, it hits you, and there's almost like a little tremble, and you hold your breath and you hit the shutter, and you know in that moment that this is a piece that's going to reach deep inside people and touch them. Now, having that experience again and again is beautiful, beautiful. I had a photographer here in town that used to do work for me when I was in public relations, Eric Werner. He's passed on. Right before he passed, he was ill and dealing with his challenge. When I saw him, it was when I won my first national award at Black Creativity at the Museum of Science and Industry, and he was observing my work, did not know it was my work, did not even know that I had any interest in photography. And when I came up, and then he read the name and he looked at me, he said, wow. He says, you have an incredible eye. I said, I know, Eric, but I don't know anything about this equipment. He said, I know. He said, neither did Gordon Parks. Man, that was the highest compliment that I think I've ever received. Gordon Parks, an amazing Black photographer, the first Life magazine photographer. And of course, he did a whole lot of other stuff, writing symphonies and best-selling books and movies without any professional training. Can you imagine that? He said, yeah. He said, Gordon Parks, he was very visual, but he was not technical. I own that today, right? One of the things that I enjoy celebrating about my work is none of it is touched. I don't own Photoshop. I don't have any of those tools to manipulate an image. What you see is exactly what I saw. It comes out of the camera that way. And I frame it and present it, and that's that. And I take great pride in that. That's, everybody has their thing. I have a lot of respect for people who do use those tools, who do add to or enrich, color or whatever they do with their images, sometimes mixed media. I have a friend, Diana, who takes photos and then she does some things with them. And it's actually mind-boggling, the creativity. But this is my thing. My thing is organic. My daddy was a jazz musician. That was before anything electric. He played the drums with the heads, the skins on there, and all organic stuff. Yeah. And, I kind of borrow from that idea of this is organic, natural, the real stuff. And so, yeah, although I shoot with digital, so there you go. I could be shooting with film, but I don't. But yeah, so I'm having a ball. I'm having a ball with the space. This is my second physical space to house my work, show my work. Before I would, just do various exhibits around the country and some of the fairs. And I like the idea of having a physical space that's stationary, that has the look and the feel. I mean, even down to the candles we burn, it's a full immersive experience when you come in. It's the best way to show the art, to stage the art, the lighting, the furnishings. You come in, we have these beautiful rivers that look out, or windows that look out to the Fox River. I mean, I love it. I love it. It's another level, right? So now we're building community around the art. There's conversations around the art. There are exchanges and people meeting one another and enjoying the times that we have here. We make the space available for people in the community to bring their activities here and to just have this wonderful space to add a little spice to life. I love providing that. I love the vibe. I love seeing the smiles on their face when they're looking at the art and then looking at one another. And when they look around the space and they say, oh, there's peace here. I love this place. I love the vibe. All of those things. All of this out of a camera, taking photographs that I love. And then let's not even wake up, or maybe we should wake up the fact that it's 30 countries. Was it 4 continents, 5? Yeah, 5 continents. So I get a chance to taste a little bit of culture all over the world. People ask, well, where's your favorite place? Or, what's your favorite photo? What? Over here is the food, over here is the people. It's the dress here, it's the architecture here. There's so much, and the world is so rich and wonderful. And I love going and making a determination for myself what this place is about, because you get the reports, the filtered reports, the crafted narratives to get you to believe or feel a certain thing about a certain place or certain people. But I love going for myself, learning for myself, tasting the food, even when it's weird looking or weird smelling, and then bringing some of the clothing or the materials home. Around here, around my house, I got, sprinkles of stuff that I've collected as I've gone. Some of it considered art, some of it's just stuff. But the stuff touches me every time I see it. It brings me back to those places, transporting again. So I bring all of those collective experiences home on a digital file, and then I print them, and I love them. The larger, the better. Get it huge, so that you can almost walk inside it, or feel like you can. But I get a chance to communicate and articulate what I saw, what I felt, what I experienced. I can disregard all other narratives, particularly those that are contradictory or clearly crafted for reasons that are not the best. So I could talk about Nigeria, and I love to. I could talk about Nigerian people, Nigerian food, and I can say these are some of the most wonderful people that I've ever encountered in my life. And when I go there, I very much feel like I'm at home. They open their doors, they open their homes. I've been met at the airport by a whole group of people, and there's a suya, it's like barbecue. I love suya, chicken, beef. I particularly love the goat meat. Can I tell you, I've had brothers and sisters to meet me at the airport with the suya still hot, right? Who does that? Who does that? Someone picks you up here, they want to hurry up and get you where you're going, and they may even be complaining that they had to endure the traffic. And our traffic is nothing compared to some of those places. You get my point? They're beautiful people, beautiful places, beautiful experiences around this globe. My intention now that I understand what I do, what it produces, and the voice that I have, is to bring into this place those experiences in each snapshot and share them. And ideally express something about this world that we live in that's much more beautiful than the news reports serve us. Firsthand captures of things that will fade, that will become, a part of the history and the stories that will be told. I can bring it, and I can show you, and I can talk about it, and I can share it. And that's why I want to do more and more of the video content, so that you have reference to say, no, wait, there's another side. There's another side of this story. And instead of there being these things that divide us, these divisive narratives, this enables me to articulate a narrative of oneness and wholeness and the love and the peace and the harmony that exists around the world. And we can share in that in a very intentional way. We can opt out of those other narratives and express the beauty of life and living with one another, even if we can't understand the verbal. We can all understand a photograph.